everything wants fries. Every meal has fries. So you run out of fries, the whole restaurant stops. So, you know, I got very good at my intuition. How many people are in the queue? How many people are on drive-through? How much? Because fries have a 5-minute shelf life. If you cook too many, you're chucking bucket loads in a red bin. So you're getting in trouble for that. There's a high food costs there, etc. So I then started learning everything. I started learning the grill side. I learned how to take the burgers off properly. I was like, look, all I need is just a bit of time to learn the formula. Once I know the formula, I'll just get faster. Before long, I was making double what everybody else could make because I knew that's 35-minute time. I can lay the meat. That's going to be up in 40 seconds. I can get another set of buns ready that no one normally does. And while this is up, I'll dress it in double time, put the next burgers and put another round of meat. It's like they couldn't wrap burgers fast enough as fast as I was making it in there. I then looked at the front because I'm actually a really lazy person. I just tried to think smart. And I think the laziest people are bloody on the till. They press a few buttons and they put a few things in the bag. So I was like, can I be on tills? No, Sean, we ain't got no labor. So I was like, can I do that? I said, you know, I got a 45-minute break. Can I eat in 15 minutes and work for the other half an hour? But you're not getting paid. That's fine with me. So 2 shifts, I work for half an hour for free. And then all of a sudden I'm doing 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And as I'm about to leave at 4 o'clock, they go, oh my God, Lucy's not here. We were short on tills. Sean, can you stay on? Well, we're going to pay you now because you know the tills. All right, cool. Stayed till 8 o'clock. I did an 8 to 8, 10-hour shift. All of a sudden, this company couldn't afford to let me go. How many times do we get stuck in a job that you're thinking at the end of the month, I need to stay here because I need to pay my bills. And someone's just going to get rid of me at the drop of a hat because I'm only good at this one skill. I knew tills, fry station, chicken side, grill side, car park, dining. They couldn't afford to let me go. And that's when I knew I'm indispensable here. You know, I'm multifaceted. I've got many different skills. You know, and all while doing this, you know, I think people should really ask themselves, because this podcast is all about helping people, right? People should ask themselves, am I somebody who is a fixed mindset or growth mindset? And you got to ask yourself, when was the last time I tried a new cuisine? When was the last time I tried a new skill or even learnt a new course? You know, people need to ask themselves these questions, Sam, because
it sounds to me like right from the get-go, working for your dad, working at McDonald's even. A lot of people would think, oh, McDonald's is just a dead-end job. But you're thinking, how can I grow? How can I become indispensable here? How can I? So you're constantly thinking about growing, applying this to something else, next level, unlocking new levels.
Absolutely. And I did go uni. My next step after college was university.
How old were you when you went to uni?
Uni, 18.
So you worked at McDonald's,
yes,
and you were doing uni at the same
college.
time.
So 4 days I would be at college, and the day off during the week and the weekend I used to do McDonald's.
Right.
Yes, just to fund myself. And then through the summer holidays, I went to the Hamburger University. Yes, there's a place in East Finchley called Hamburger University. Go and Google it. And I went and passed my manager exams, and I became a manager through them 6 weeks.
So what did you study at uni? Management skills.
I did accounting and finance.
Interesting.
I got exempt from all of the 3 of the ACCA papers to become an accountant.
Did you want to become an accountant?
I thought it was a good thing. I thought it sounds like a good title. And during one of the summer holidays, 2 of the days, my dad said, you can go and work with an accountant, Mr. Ondia, you can go in there. So I remember going in, I've got a suit now. I've got a room, that back room is me with a computer. Great. So I'm sitting here now, and a big pile of papers been thrown, and they go, you know, sundry accounts, ledger accounts, credit, debits. I said, yeah, we're learning about this in university. I can do this. So you go, oh, I need to go and ask Mr. Smith, what's this go under? Yeah, that goes under this because it's that invoice. So I entered it, and everything was like a mission to me. Entered it. Boom. It must be nearly lunchtime. It's only 10:10. This is boring. Stuck to this desk, you know? And so I was like, look, I finished my work. They go, great. Here's another pile for the other client. And I realized this is just dead end. I'm just going to keep doing the same process again and again and again. No matter how good I am, I don't want to bloody do this. So it really taught me that one summer, they gave you this lovely Christmas party. You're in a lovely hotel, lovely dinner. You get the same people who've worked in this company for the last 20 years, same old story. Yeah, my son's at uni now. I'm doing this now. It just wasn't me. I'm just like, same old. It was nothing new. I wanted to learn. I wanted to get out there. And I was like, this ain't for me. But I knew I had to see my degree through. And at that stage, in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, them sort of years, uni cost about £1,000 to £1,100. So it just made sense. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I knew I'd done business studies, accounts, ICT in college. Let me just get into uni and just carry on. At least let me get a degree next to my name. No one in my family's got a degree. So let me do that, make the family proud. And yeah, is uni a good thing or not? Well, it taught me team building skills. It taught me that I had to look after my own time. Whether the subject or not taught me anything, that's a different matter. But look after my own time, that my grade's going to be affected if I don't meet these 4 people and going, when's your tax lesson? When's your maths lesson? When's this lesson? Can we meet Friday at 3:00? That's what it did teach me about being self-motivated. But I was very proud that I paid for my own university. You know, I'd work in McDonald's, I'd save. That thing that's called a rainy day account. My dad said, save for a rainy day. I was like, what's that? He goes, you never know when you're gonna need money. I don't want you receiving money and spending all of it. Put some of it away because you never know. And I was like, I don't get this. Why? And then all of a sudden, you know, you're paying for your own uni. It was just techniques to try build that.
Was that 1,100 per what, per year?
1,100 per year.
That doesn't sound very expensive at all.
But when you're on £3-4 an hour on McDonald's and
well,
you're
yeah,
doing 50 hours.
It is, but now, isn't
Yes.
it like 9,000, 10,000?
Yes, it's 9,000, 10,000. And today I would do things very differently because leaving university with a £30,000 debt, with joining a queue of people who've all got a degree and still sitting unemployed,
yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me.
So if you were going back, would you do it different?
No. With what I paid, I'd still do the route that I did. You know, Emmanuel Asuko, you know, he's a financial advisor, Emmanuel Asuko. He's been on ITV and stuff. He went to the same uni as me. You know, he's somebody who vouched for me when I got my job in Barclays at 21. You know, I've made some good relationships too. But if it was at 10 grand, I wouldn't pay 10 grand for going to uni.
How many jobs have you had?
So jobs, a few. In Barclays, when I joined Barclays, they had this 8-month rule. And so within Barclays, I was a cashier. So if you got a pile of cash, I'll show you how fast I can count. Cashier, I was a coordinator. I was a personal banker. You know, look after individuals with their loans, savings, short-term savings, long-term savings, GI, general insurances. So they said that you have to stay in this role for 18 months and do not talk. 8 months, boom, next level. You know, and then I became one of the youngest premier managers. That was me at the age of 23, look after millionaires in that whole patch. I'm number 1 in Western in eight months. I was 3rd in the region, and I didn't sell. I just matched what people needed. I was just very good at doing my CDD, which is a customer discussion document. Hi, Mr. Samuel. Thank you for coming in today. Appreciate it. Would you like a cup of tea, perhaps a glass of water? Right, today I'm here to look at your accounts to either make you more money or save you more money. I appreciate you've had many different managers, which is why I would like to get all your documents here. So I knew I could save their documents. I'd find out their young daughter was Emily or young Albert. How old is he? 3 years old. Okay, let me just log that so I'll remember that. And guess what I was doing the next week? Hi, Mr. Samuel, how are you? I was thinking about what you said. Is young Emily, is she going to be going to private schooling? What, 9 years old? Okay, have you made provisions for that? No, okay, well, we've just had this fantastic savings account at 7% and no one's doing that. And it's only $250 a month. End of the year, it's $3,000. In 10 years, by the time she's ready to go, that's $30,000. That's the first 3 years paid for. Jolly good. Please set one of them on. Can you meet me in the IOD club, Institutional Directors Club? Used to go there, play squash with these guys. Used to go Savile Row where Elton John used to work. You know, so I was really good at that 5 days a week. And guess what I did on Saturday, Sunday? McDonald's. I'd work. And guess what my spending money was? McDonald's. All while I was saving my 70 grand salary for my deposit. So the first people go, I'm not on a £70,000 salary. Okay, well, look at this. I was getting £1,300 as a cashier. What's that making 10 months? 13 grand. All of that got banged into the savings. And guess what? I didn't know I was going to buy a property, but the guy next to me, Anish Taylor, goes, bro, I really need to get rid of my property, you know? It's causing me problems. And you know what? I've got a really good deal in Hertfordshire, and it's the lady's giving me